you on. This is the Daily Dozen, presented by Champions Round.
What is going on? Welcome to the Daily Dozen. My name is Jason Gold. This is Jeff Hasley and Joey Mariello. We are here to break down the 12 player props that we have to bet on for NFL Week 3 Sunday. You guys ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All righty. Let's get this on the board, get the show on the road. Here are our 12 props for the Daily Dozen. You have until 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern to lock in these picks. Hit 7 or more, you're going to make some money with Champions Run. If you hit 12 out of 12, you're going to make $1,200 today. Excited about that. Also, make sure to join in. If you don't have any fantasy contests going on right now, go ahead and join in on Sunday's Best. You can play for free, play for cash. I actually just joined a $25 contest on the Champions Round app, so you can come play with me, try to make some big bucks today. You have to draft one quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, and one tight end there. Really easy draft, takes 2 minutes. Super excited to have some superstars going on this Sunday. All right, let's get into some props today. First one on the board. Oh, boy, we start with the Joey prop. Tyreek Hill, total touchdowns, 0.5 against the Buffalo Bills today. Joey, start off with you. What do you think?
I mean, how can you not go over on this, considering the game that he's coming off of and the injuries in the Bills' secondary? Micah Hyde's out. Jordan Poyer's out. Big game for Tua. You know he's going to be slinging it. I got to go with the over on this.
Is Poyer definitely out?
Poyer's
definitely out.
I don't want to root for injuries, but, you know.
Gotcha. So, yeah, I mean, that is a crushing blow to their secondary. Obviously, they're going to have some people back there, but not their starters. So that's a little concerning. Buffalo has allowed only one touchdown to a wide receiver this year, and that was Cooper Kupp. Nobody else has even had 50 yards receiving against them. But again, that's with
2 games.
That's with
games.
True,
Small
but that's all
size.
with their healthy team. So, you know what? I mean, if Miami's going to score, chances are it's going to be Tyreek. So I kind of like this to lean on the over, and yeah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say Tyreek as well gets a touchdown.
Well, usually I'm the one that jumps in here, and I'm the general fade person, but I like the Tyreek to score a touchdown today also for multiple reasons. One, I'm on Miami plus 5.5. That was one of our circuit contest plays and one of the circuit entries I'm in. 2, I have bet the over, first half and the over for the game, no less than 7 times already. So I have the first half over from 23.5 to 26. I have the game over from 50.5 to 53. It's at 54 right now. I might still do it. This is really interesting because Buffalo is going to smash Miami offensively. Miami's defense plays exactly what Josh Allen wants to do. They run the most man in the league. Josh Allen crushes man. They blitz a ton. Josh Allen's great against that. And you look at the flip side, we saw something out of Miami last week. They think that Tua is going to be confident throwing the ball down the field. Buffalo's secondary is cluster injuries, always something that you want to attack. And something interesting that I heard this week that should be interesting, especially in the fourth quarter, no one ran more miles than the Baltimore secondary in like 15 years, and they ran more than the next closest team in the NFL in week 2 by 30%. AKA, they're going to do this every game and get these secondaries so tired so that in the fourth quarter, you're just destroyed. So this is like the new version of a way to tire our team. You used to run the ball 30 times right at their offensive line and their defensive line and get them tired and exhausted. By the time you fourth quarter, you could run 6 yards of play. Now you exhaust the cornerbacks so they can't cover you 40 yards down the field in the fourth quarter. You go and you put up 28 in the fourth every time. So I think that's going to happen against Buffalo? No, but I do think that there is a case to be made that the Buffalo secondary is going to be exhausted. Their defense is going to be exhausted. We're going to see a lot of points in the second half here. So give me Tyreek Hill touchdowns over and a lot of the overs across the board in that game. Sorry for the long explanation, but whatever.
You're good. Noted.
All right, next one on the board. Travis Kelce receiving yards, 71.5. This is my lock of the day. I'm taking the over on this one. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like the over as well. Last week was kind of a down week for him. I think they bounced back. I like Kelce as one of the primary receiving targets, if not the primary receiving target here for the Chiefs in this game. So, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm all over the over on this one. I mean, the Colts have shown Nothing really defensively, so I'm going to go with the over. I think Kelce kind of takes advantage and bounces back.
So this is like if you've ever seen Gus Bradley's stats against Patrick Mahomes, you will just bet all of the overs today. Gus Bradley's terrible against Patrick Mahomes. Kelce has always traditionally destroyed Gus Bradley defenses. I think 3 of the 4 times that they played the Raiders when Gus Bradley was the defensive coordinator there, Travis Kelce had over 100 yards receiving. This should be a smash spot. Everybody's really, really high on Kansas City. Everyone thinks they're going to win today. I know, Jeff, that you have them as your survivor pick. It might be really easy. Gus Bradley might just get destroyed again. Sketchy. That one is the one where I'm just like, all the alarms are going off in my head. It's like, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. If you can avoid doing it, don't touch it. The line is down to -5 at DraftKings. So, yeah. All right. Joe Burrow passing yards 264.5. Man, I love all of the overs today. That is so unlike me. This is a perfect get right spot for the Cincinnati Bengals. We put out a YouTube video, Joey and I, on why the Bengals should have been your survivor pick this week. Jeff didn't listen to me. Very sad. Made me want to cry. What do you think about the Joe Burrow passing yards today?
I like the over, and against this number in the last 10 games, he's hit that 6 times. So I like that. I think Cincinnati's going to come out strong. They have a healthy receiving core. I think he takes advantage of that, and the Jets' secondary, aka defense. I think he takes care of that number.
Yeah, I'm also on the over on this one. Burrow obviously has had a terrible last 2 weeks. This week he went into hibernation, deleted all social medias. He's clearly locked in on this game. Last year, the Jets actually upset the Bengals. So like Jason said, this is a perfect comeback spot. It's all kind of lining up. I think this is the game where Burrow shows, all right, like I'm still Joe Burrow. I'm still the quarterback that made it to the Super Bowl. So I'm on the over.
I mean, if we see what happened the last 2 weeks, so you're facing Micah Parsons and TJ Watt, probably the two of the top 5 defensive players in the NFL, maybe 2 of the top 2, honestly. And those 2 teams get really good pressure rate. Now you're going up against the Jets that have the worst DVOA pass coverage in the NFL through 2 weeks, albeit small sample size, and 29th in pressure rate. This Bengals offensive line is going to get right-ish today. Joe Burrow should have tons of time. I think that he's going to launch the crap out of the ball. I think that they get a giant win against the New York Jets. Passing yards 264.5. I like the over. I like Jamar Chase over 77.5 also. And I like T. Higgins over receptions. Like, I know there's only so many balls to go around, but I think it's going to be a massive day for this Bengals offense. I think they get right here against the New York Jets. All right, next one on the board. Carson Wentz passing touchdowns 1.5. What do you think? I'll start with Joey here.
I'm going to actually lean towards the over on this one, which this one was tough. This one was the one that I kind of was iffy about, but you're going against your old team. The Eagles are really good. I think the Eagles are going to be putting up a lot of points today. I like the over in this game, period. So I like Washington playing behind, airing the ball out. I think Carson Wentz will get his 2 touchdown passes. So I'm on the over.
Oh, that's a tough one for me. I'm leaning under because I think Washington's going to get a rushing touchdown. It might be Antonio Gibson here. The Eagles have allowed 3 rushing touchdowns to running backs this year. Granted, all 3 were against the Lions in week 1. But if they do score a rushing touchdown, I'm not sure if I see Wentz getting 2 passing touchdowns in this game. So I'm kind of going the under. And I think Philadelphia might win. I'm a little torn on this because Jalen Hurts is not really that great against the opponents in his division. In fact, he's never covered against his opponents in his division. And on the road, he's a little iffy. But I don't know. For some reason, I think Philadelphia gets this done. Maybe they get a defensive score or something like that. I'm going to lean under on this one.
I'm on the over here, and I'm going to need Carson Wentz to hit this second passing touchdown as a backdoor cover for me at +6.5 in the circuit contest. That's kind of what I'm praying for. I do think that the Commanders will have success in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game outright. Eagles are flying high, short week, traveling on the road, and 6.5-point favorites. generally a bad spot to be. I do think this Eagles team is really good. I think this Washington Commanders team, especially their defense, is a little dicey, but situationally a great spot for the Commanders. So I see them having success in this one. And obviously Carson Wentz has the I used to play for the Eagles, fuck that team factor, which cannot be underestimated at any cost. All right, here we go. Christian McCaffrey, rushing yards 59.5, hosting the New Orleans Saints in Carolina. Joey, you high on CMC today?
I am so high on CMC. I love the over. He was kind of held up last week, but Christian McCaffrey is just waiting to go off, and I think this is the game where he does go off. I know Carolina has been letting up a decent amount of rushing yards a game. I want to say it's like they're 29th in the league, something like that. So this is a game, not Carolina, New Orleans, sorry. So this is a game that I think McCaffrey's going to go off. This is a breakout game for McCaffrey for me. So I'm on the over.
I like the over as well. I'm not sure if Carolina is going to win this game, but I think they at least put up a fight. Shoot, I mean they've lost their first two games due to a 58-yard field goal and a 56-yard field goal. They're staying in the game, and defense is one of the reasons why. Their pass defense is one of the reasons why. As far as rushing the ball, I think that we're going to see McCaffrey. I don't want to say unleashed because we've seen it before, but I think he just tries to right the ship and has a strong game. He had a 49-yard run last week. That would essentially put him over this number. So yeah, I like the over here, and I think that Carolina is going to make a statement. Don't know if that involves a W, but I'd like to see what their offense can do here. They need to get over that 20-point barrier, get 24, 28 points, and I think they got a chance.
Jeff, I have a question for you since you know the Panthers well. Do you think that Matt Rule has too big of an ego? Because obviously that to be an NFL head coach, you have to have some ego. Like, there's no way that you get in that position without not having some. And it's not always the worst thing in the world. But his response to, and I'm not a big Dan Orlovsky guy, but I thought that some of his, it was good game tape. Basically, like, you're telling them that you're going to run the ball, and Matt Rule came out and said, well, why did we rush for 146 yards? You rushed for 146 yards because you got one big break and you have one of the best running backs in the NFL, you dumbass. Do you think that his ego's too big? What's your general take on Rule? Because I don't see it with him.
I don't know. I mean, I am looking forward to the day where Matt Rule is ousted, just for Carolina to have a new beginning. I don't like his in-game management. It seems like the Panthers, I saw this stat. They have had a lead in 16 of their last 18 games. But of course, we know that they've lost 9 straight games, and they're generally a losing team. And the reason why maybe is because the second half they struggle to pull it out. They can't close out on games. Matt Rule does a really poor job of adjusting to what the other team is doing. And I don't think that he has the NFL smarts as a coach to make the decisions, to whether that's hiring or whether that's in-game decision making. A lot of that's the coordinator as well, but I'm sure that there's back and forth talk. I don't know. I don't know if it's a big ego. I think he's just trying to talk his way out of something, and that's kind of what we're getting.
He's got a good mouth. So I'm going to take the under on the Christian McCaffrey just because I have some faith in the Saints defense. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I do think that McCaffrey's going to have a big game through the air. I think it'll be a lot more dump-offs in this one. I think that's more because of the pressure that the Saints are going to be able to get on Baker Mayfield. I love the Baker Mayfield over an interception today, over half an interception. Yeah. I just think there's going to be so much pressure in his face, and we know how he is. He gets scaredy cat feet in the pocket. So I will take the under on Christian McCaffrey. Rushing yards. Dalvin Cook, rushing plus receiving yards, 101.5 for the Minnesota Vikings, taking on the Detroit Lions. I think that anyone that's listened to any of our podcasts this week knows that I'm all over the Minnesota Vikings this week. I think they're going to have a huge offensive day. Over 29.5 team total points. Over first half, 13.5 or 14.5, depending on where you can get it. Team total points. Minnesota -6. Minnesota in a money line parlay with the Bengals, which is something I would not advise anyone to do, but I'm a degenerate piece of shit, so let me do it. And I do think that if you're still on a survivor decision, I think that they're an okay choice. I would pick the Bengals, but I think that the Vikings are well worth considering. Joey, what do you think about this Dalvin Cook prop?
All right. So I'm completely with you on everything in the Vikings going over. We got Kirk Cousins in a 1:00 slate game. Okay. He's coming back. He's throwing for 400. There's no doubt in my mind. The question is, I don't think it's going to involve Dalvin that much in the receiving game. And I don't think Dalvin's going to rush for over 100 yards himself. I think he'll have probably around like the 60, 70 range. I think Kirk is going to be airing it out to his wide receiver options. I think he's still going to be slinging. It's going to be a huge day for the Vikings, but I went with the under on this one.
Okay, fair enough. Jeff?
That's interesting. Yeah, I took the over here, but I am not confident in it. The over actually is hit for those of you who are watching and are kind of curious about this pick as well. The over has hit for him on this number 6 out of the last 10 times and 3 of the last 4 at home. So, I mean, that's good. That's looking good. The Lions, we know that the Lions can be run on. Cook had like 18 rushing yards last week against the Eagles. It just was, It was the game script and it just didn't happen for him. I'm a little concerned, and I kind of agree with what Joey said about the receiving yards. They might not necessarily be there. And can he get 80, 90 rushing yards? I'm not so sure. I like the numbers leaning over, but I kind of want to go under here until he proves to me that he's a legit runner this year in that offense. So I'm going to say under.
It's a big number. I do think that he's going to be involved in the receiving game though. So I'm going to kind of lean over. It's just more like I want to be on the side of the Minnesota Vikings today. So I'm going to lean towards the over on this one. Leonard Fournette carry 16.5 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Green Bay Packers. That line is a pick 'em or Tampa Bay -1, depending on where you're looking. Total is set at 42. Hilarious point that I heard this week. Every time that Rodgers and Brady have met up, the lowest total that there's ever been in any matchup in the last decade is 54.5 as an opener.
Whoa.
Now we're at 42. So not exactly great. Fournette should be really involved today. Also, I spelled it Leonard Fournette. Great. Maybe I did spell that right. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
right.
Early.
It's early, and I'm coming off a COVID brain. Let me be. All right. What do you guys think about Carey's 16.5?
If this was last year, I would take the under all day long, right? Because they weren't really a rushing team. Fournette's dealing with that hamstring injury. Who knows if that's going to affect him? Obviously, if there's a re-injury, this is under. He has, and as far as this number is concerned, carries 16.5. He has been under on that 6 of the last 10 games. So, but again, that goes back to last season and where they didn't really run a lot. I kind of lean under here. He'd have to get 17 carries. I'm not sure if they do that. And if Green Bay comes out with a fairly decent offense, even though they're stuck with injuries as well. But if they can get some points on the board and Tampa has to play comeback, we're not going to see that running game much. So, yeah, I'm going to go under 16.5. I don't think he gets 17.
Joe, what do you think?
I'm leaning towards the over, and a lot of that is because of what you just said about the over-under being set so low. I think this game is going to be ground and pound. The suspension of Mike Evans, too, on that offense. They're clearly banged up at receivers, too. They're going to rely on Fournette a lot. I know the only thing that does scare me is the hamstring injury, but Green Bay's also letting up 150 yards rushing a game. So got to rely on Fournette. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to go with the over on this. Maybe he gets 17, hopefully. But this number is high, so this one is scary.
Yeah, Montgomery, cooked the Packers in the running game last week. I got to take the over. There's a reason I put it in here is because I thought that people would take the under, and the over is probably the right play, the sharp play. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to steal your money out here. I'm just joking. I like the over in this one. I think he's going to have close to 20 carries in this game. So give me over 16.5. All right, we got 5 more props on the board. Devonte Adams receiving yards 81.5. Bounce back spot for him and the Raiders in Tennessee today. Joey, what do you think?
I went with the under on this too. I went with the under because
is it because you're heartbroken after last week? You get a TikTok view that gets like 800,000 people watching it, and then he puts up a 2 for 12.
And then the first play, the first drive, he scores a touchdown. I'm like, oh damn, this video was money.
Yeah.
And then he finishes with 1 catch for 12 yards, 2 catches for 12 yards. That's it. No, I went with the under. I think this game is going under as a whole, too. I don't think anyone's going to get much going. I think Tennessee's defense is trash, too. They got abused last week, so they'll probably be making adjustments. I think both of these teams are going to rely on the run game. The clock's going to be ticking the whole time, so I went with the under.
I am going over, and this is my lock of the day.
Ooh.
I think that Devonte Adams is going to crush this number. One, you got Hunter Renfrow, who's out, so he's out with a concussion.
Is he confirmed out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he is. Adams has hit this number in 7 of the last 10 games. They're playing against a Titan secondary, which is rough. Christian Fulton is most likely the guy that he'll be lining up mostly against. And we know that he can be abused. The Titans have allowed the 4th most receiving yards to wide receivers this year. The Bills can say a lot about that.
Yeah.
Devonte Adams, in my opinion, this is like a 12 target game for him, I think. And I think he gets it done. We're probably looking at a 100-yard game from him and a score. So yeah, I'm going to take the over on this.
Interesting. I would have leaned towards the over, but Jeff kind of convinced me to do the over here. So I'm going to go with the over 81.5 for Devonte Adams. Lamar Jackson interceptions. Sorry that Smalls isn't here to talk about both of these, but Lamar against the New England Patriots. What do you think about the interception prop?
I kind of like interception props going over on them. Because
it's easy. You only got to get one of them.
You only got to get one, and once it happens, okay, we got it. So I'm leaning interception here for Jackson against a tough New England secondary that we've seen that can cause problems, especially for Baltimore. I'm gonna take the one interception here. I'm not sure when it happens, but I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think New England always plays Lamar good. I'm sure they game planned him good too. Probably going to be seeing a lot of QB spy in that case too. And I think Lamar's always kind of careless with the ball sometimes. So I'm going to go with the over. I think it's bound to happen in this one, especially against the Patriots.
I'm just going to be contrarian and say under. I think you guys make good points, but he's still a guy who's not throwing 17 interceptions this season. So I'll take the one off the board. Don't think he throws one here. However, the next guy, Kyler Murray, interceptions 0.5. Give me all of these. I think he throws at least 2 today.
Man.
I don't know. Again, like I said before, I kind of like the over on interception props because I think there's a reason why they're on. Otherwise, they'd have everybody on, right? It's a home game, so he's got that kind of going for him a little bit. But I think he makes a mistake, and against that Rams defense, who knows? A little bit of pressure on him, and he throws an ill-advised pass. I'm going to take the over on Kyler interceptions.
Jason, I couldn't agree more with the 2 interceptions. I don't have much to say on this one, but I know Kyler is going to be scrambling like a little mouse back there. Give me Kyler 2 interceptions. Too much pressure in his face. He's going to be hucking the ball deep. And they're probably going to be playing from behind. So give me Kyler 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, I actually end up really liking the Rams. I'm worried about the back door because it's -3.5. That hook's probably going to screw us with Kyler, but McVay 5-1-1 all time against the spread against Cliff Kingsbury. Rams really dominate Arizona. I think everyone's now back high on them after the comeback win, but basically we know that team still stinks. They stink. This is a great get right spot for the Rams offense. So, and the Rams, yes, they let the Falcons back in the game and they lost the cover and whatever, but the offense didn't look horrible against Atlanta for a good stretch of that game. And this Arizona defense is way worse than Atlanta's is. So, yeah, I think it could be.
Why aren't we talking about the Rams for Survivor then?
Because it's a shorter dog, a road
division.
Yeah,
I get it.
Also, I feel like if Cliff Kingsbury knocks you out of Survivor, you're just gonna be fucking livid. So
not only that, like I think that if Cliff knocks you out of Survivor, you got to not play Survivor for 3 years. It's like
you're done. Retire after that.
All right, 2 more left on the board. Ooh, go Ducks. Marcus Mariota rushing yards 29.5 against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm smashing the over here, obviously.
Oof. So all right. I
Joey,
don't
you
know
look very confused.
No,
What's going on, buddy?
for some reason, I thought it was higher for some reason.
I don't know what to make of this, but in the last 10 games, Mariota has been under 9 times on that line.
He's been under 9 of the last 10 games?
Yeah, under 27.5 rushing
Well,
yards.
you know that he was a backup, so he's getting 0 carries a game. So does that count? Or you're talking about 10 games as a starter?
I'm gonna look into that and see. I'm gonna double check my stats here, because that absolutely is a factor. But
What about the last 2 games?
let's take a look. You discuss. I'm gonna look.
All right, I'm gonna go with the under. I think Mariota is due for, if anything, like a 10-yard rushing touchdown, a couple scrambles for like 3.
Oh,
5
Joey,
yards.
are we calling it again?
No.
No, we're not calling it again? Okay.
I'm gonna check the line and maybe I'll sprinkle. I have a little bit. I went a little overboard on the anytime touchdown parlays.
Okay.
Kind of like got my head in the sand right now, so I got enough on my plate. But maybe, yeah, I don't think he's gonna get 29. I think if anything, he will be due for a touchdown, like 10 yards, 5 yards, but 29. He's not running like Mariota used to run, so I'm gonna go with the under.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
so my stat there is skewed because it doesn't look. It just starts. So yeah, throw that out. That's actually because I just said that, I'm gonna lean over. Why not? I mean, what did he have, like almost 80 yards or something like that week 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a key factor in this game. I'll take the over on that, over 30 yards. Sure.
Love the Falcons today too. Got to roll with my boy Marcus of the Northwest. He doesn't lose there. Michael Pittman receiving yards 61.5. Final prop for Daily Dozen. Pittman's back against the Kansas City Chiefs for the Colts. What do you guys think?
I gotta go with the over just because I think this game is so sketchy. And I saw on Twitter that Matt Ryan actually talked to a bunch of players on his offense and gave him kind of a stern talk that shit has to change. So that right there just shows me that they're not coming into this game looking to just get abused. Like, they want to win this game. I think he's going to be airing it out to Pittman. I think Pittman's going to have a great day. I would say over 80 yards, if anything. So give me Pittman over 61, and I'll take an anytime touchdown.
Ooh,
there you go.
Spicy.
Yeah. I think that Pittman right now is their offense. It's like he's their main guy. He's their cog. He's why they didn't score a single point last week, because he wasn't playing. That's a big reason why. So I think as long as his quad holds up, he's okay. And I think he hits this number. So I'm going to take the over, but I'm still a little concerned about the Colts offense. You know, I mean, shoot, 0 points. I mean, he's back, so hopefully he's the reason. So yeah, I'll take the over, but I'm not as high on it as Joey is, perhaps.
I mean, if you look at the first 2 games, so the Chiefs, despite the fact that they destroyed Arizona, Hollywood Brown had a good game. Then Mike Williams had a good game. So the number 1 receiver on both teams have had good games, and I expect that to continue with Michael Pittman here. You saw what he did in week 1 against Houston. He's clearly the guy there. Matt Ryan clearly trusts him. So give me this over 61.5 receiving yards. I think it's really set pretty low based on his injury and him coming back. But we think that there's going to be some points in this game. So give me Pittman. I might do that anytime touchdown too. A little dicey, but I don't hate it. Don't hate it. All right. Why don't we? So that's it for Daily Dozen. You want to roll into Roundtable for 5-10 minutes, get some bets on the board?
I'm in.
Yeah, we can do that. You want
to
to do
do
that right here?
Yeah, let's do it right here. Screw it.
Okay.
I don't need to go to a different stream. I'm ready. All right.
No
So Champions Roundtable. We're just going to lay out whatever bets that we got that we like for today's games. Joey, why don't you start us off with one that you like?
All right. I like the Texans +2 against the Bears. Texans are sneaky good. We know that. Always like.
You can go better than +3 right now.
+3.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I like him as an underdog against the Bears. The Bears look terrible when it's not raining out. They looked garbage. I'm completely not sold on them. I'm not sold on Justin Fields. The Texans are sneaky good. I like the way Davis Mills looks. I like the way he's been playing. And I think they have a big game. I think they rely on the run game too. And I think Dameon Pierce pops off.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I like Baltimore -3 on the road at New England. I think that it was a crazy ending last week for Baltimore against Miami. I think they had that game. I think if it was that cornerback who doesn't turn around against the Tyreek Hill touchdown, if he turns around, they're up 14 or something like that. And with the ball with 7 minutes left, I mean, it was just one of those weird endings. I think if Baltimore won that game, they're probably a much higher favorite. Or sorry, not much higher favorite. They're probably I don't know, much higher, 5.5, 6 points, something like that. So I like Baltimore here. I don't think that New England has it all together. We've talked about their play calling before. Who the hell's doing it? Hell, Mac Jones has more turnovers than touchdowns right now. Their running game hasn't really shown whether that's Damian Harris or if it's Ramondre Stevenson. No one's really kind of put together that big game to be the running back who stands out. I don't know. I'm leaning Baltimore here. I think they are upset and pissed about last week. And they're the better team here. So yeah, I'll take the Ravens -3. Has it gone down to 2.5 at all?
Yeah, it's been set at 2.5 for most of the week. It's at 2.5 at DraftKings right now. Juice -125. Yeah, like even my circuit contest was Baltimore -2.5. So fair warning on Baltimore. I bet the money line -150 on Monday, thinking, oh, this line's set like trash, whatever. And then it didn't move. And now I'm scared shitless about this number. I know that this is a trap game. Joey and I talked about it on a Thursday show. I know this is a trap game. I know that you're supposed to bet New England. I know that all of the sharps are betting New England. I don't want to do it. It sounds really stupid. So I'm just going to avoid the game entirely. I get your point. Everything that you said is 100% true. There's a reason to bet the Ravens at money line or -2.5. I'm just telling you, you're not supposed to do it. This is one of those games where, like, my gambler brain just goes, Jason, step away from the craps table. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So this is me stepping away from that game. I get your point. Enjoy the bet. I just can't get myself to do it. All right. Well, you know what? We'll start it off early. Here's the book. The book's coming out.
Here we go.
All right. So I'll read off all of our circa picks first, and then I'll do all of the bets that I have at the end. So circa 1 is Atlanta pick'em, Washington +6.5, Jacksonville +7, Tampa Bay pick'em, and Denver -1.5. Joey, somehow we ended up with 2 Denver picks because my dumb fuck people that I do this with love Denver today. I don't feel good about it. The second one is Jacksonville +7, Washington +6.5, Atlanta pick'em, Denver +1.5, and Miami +5.5. You'll like that one. And then the third one that I'm doing with Dan Titus that we released our picks last night, Houston +2.5, Atlanta pick'em, Rams -3.5, Jacksonville +7, and the Bengals -6. Bengals actually just moved. And, interesting. The Bengals and the Vikings both just moved to -6.5 on here. Interesting. All right.
Is the Commander still at 7?
It's 6, and it's actually 6 at DraftKings.
It's okay. Because I kind of like Washington in this game. We kind of talked about it earlier, and I alluded to the fact that Jalen Hurts has struggled on the road, especially against divisional opponents, and he's never covered against a divisional opponent on the road. So that's something to take into consideration. 6.5. I definitely like the 7 better, or 6. You said. So it seems like things are kind of coming down a little bit, but I still kind of like Washington at home to cover.
Does anyone have any favorite teaser pieces on the board right now?
No, I didn't take anything teaser related this
Why?
week.
What were you thinking? Are you thinking just like overs, unders, and lines, or are you thinking props as well?
I'm gonna say this every week. You don't tease overs and unders. You don't tease totals. Don't do it. Okay. I'm thinking about team lines. So usually you're supposed to go through 3 and 7 and 7-3. Bengals at -6.5 to get to 0.5. If that line touches 7, I will guarantee you I will be betting that. Until then, so basically until you get to 7, it's better off just to money line pair teams. So you'd actually get better value with a money line parlay of the Bengals and the Vikings right now than doing them in a teaser. A teaser on that would cost you like -115. If you do that as a money line parlay, it's like -102. So I'm saving you cents here, but there is value in doing that. If it touches 7, I would use the Bengals. If Minnesota touches 7, I would use Minnesota. Using New England, 2.5 to 8.5 is a great play. Using the Tennessee Titans, +2 to +8 is a good play. Same with Carolina. You could do Houston, +3 to +9. I don't hate that. You could do Arizona, I wouldn't do. Oh, Green Bay, +1.5. Get that to +7.5. That's great. Atlanta, +1 to +7. And then Denver, +1.5 to +7.5. And the same with Dallas, +1 to +7. So there's a lot of pieces on the board. It's just a matter of which sides you like, which teams you like.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, there's definitely some angle. This is a tough week.
It's a tough week in certain aspects, yeah.
I don't there's a lot of games that I don't trust. Like this was
Which games don't you trust? Run through the games you don't trust.
Okay, Chiefs Colts. Like nothing about this saying like, okay.
You're right.
Colts are dead last in the league right now for points scored. And then the Chiefs are second for I mean the Colts are dead last for like points let up. So they've let up the most points. And the Chiefs are second in the league in points scored. Why are they only -5.5? And the Colts have yet to win a football game this year.
Yeah.
Home factor, like you said, Jason, they're predicted.
Vegas,
they were
baby.
predicted to win the division.
Vegas, you're right. It's Vegas. I like the Chiefs -5.5. I'm not falling into. I'm not buying the Vegas trap. I'm just going with my gut. I'm going with the stats. The Colts look terrible. Matt Ryan looks terrible, and Mahomes is still Mahomes. So
I know it's appealing, man. It's inviting.
I always have this little devil in the back of my head. It's like whatever you think you know,
bet
you don't know shit. You don't know shit. It's always there. It's just like, okay, rethink the strategy, rethink, like analyze this from the other angle. Why would you want to bet on the Indianapolis Colts +5.5 in this game? And try to make a case. And if you listen to that case and you're like, no, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, good, trust your gut. And if you're like, oh, there's a kernel of truth in here, back away from the craps table. That's all I'm saying. This is definitely if you listen to some people, they say, look, the Colts are still really undervalued. Matt Ryan, his arm might actually be dead. This defense with Gus Bradley might not actually be good. Frank Reich starts slowly. Andy Reid has 10 days. Like, there are cases to be made why the Chiefs are going to dominate in this game. And then there's this is so sketchy. I don't believe in this at all. The Colts were supposed to win the division. This is their first game at home. Are they going to be successful? Like, I don't know. It just seems like a scream stay away to me. Yeah. I want to see the Chiefs beat the shit out of them. I think that'd be fun, but I don't know.
I got to be honest, man. I've got second thoughts on my Survivor pick now.
Oh man, I'm so
no.
I'm not trying to get you to change it because I know. Because if you flip to the Bengals and the Bengals lose, 1, I'm going to feel like shit, and then 2, you're going to yell.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't mind if you felt like shit, but I don't know. I really kind of like Minnesota this week too, for whatever reason. Heck, they beat the Packers at home. They can take out the Vikings, right? Or the Lions. The Lions.
They won by 16 at home.
Yeah, right. So. That's another topic is we've got one game with 0-2s against each other, and we've got one game with 2-0s against each other. The Raiders and Titans play each other.
Yeah.
Which one's 0-3?
Probably the Titans. That's another game that I don't want to bet at all. I don't trust it because
I'm staying away. I like the under, and that's it. That's the only thing I like in that game.
Interesting.
There's reasons to buy on both teams because they're both so low. I don't know. That's definitely it's a full stay away from me.
I have some breaking Adam Scheffler around the Dolphins game actually. Okay, this is just more information. The two cornerbacks that are starting for the Bills right now, both rookies. One was the first round pick, and one was a pick in the 6th round.
Okay.
The safety that's starting was a 2021 6th round pick, and this group combined has made 3 NFL starts.
Whew.
So you want to look at that matchup against Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, Cedric Wilson.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks like a no-brainer. The question is, How's Tua gonna play?
Well, I think maybe perhaps a more important question is, how's your offensive line going to hold up against this Buffalo defensive front that looks awesome? Like, they've been game wreckers through 2 games.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
right.
And we've seen Tua with pressure is, I mean, talk about happy feet. I know his hips move like a cow, but his feet are happy.
He's good. He's good.
Oh, man.
So I don't know. That's just something to look at. I know his prop for passing yards is set at 260. So if the offensive line can hold up, I feel like that's such a gimme from Vegas that he goes over 260 and he's just throwing all day.
Well, even if they suck, right, and Buffalo gets a big 30-point lead or whatever, they're going to keep chucking the ball. So, like, even them coming from behind works for that over prop also.
Okay. Yeah.
Joey, like, he can't comprehend it. He's like, this doesn't compute. Dolphins down by 30. I don't like it. I can't do it.
I know, because it's funny because last time the Dolphins played the Bills, or it might have been 2 years ago when they were getting smoked, and Tua was throwing for like 360 yards, and I'm just like, So yeah, honestly, I think that makes it even a better pick. Just thinking if the Bills are for real and they're just blowing the Fins out, they're going to be airing it out, no doubt.
All right, why don't we close out the show? Give me your one best bet of the day. Joey, you can't say Dolphins.
Okay, fine.
And Jeff, you can't say Carolina.
Oh, if I do, I'll take the Saints. I'm not happy with the Panthers right now. You know that. Every now and then they throw a game that's out of nowhere that they were like, wow, they won that game. They weren't supposed to win that, and it has the feeling of this. You've got Winston with the back issues, Kamara with the rib issues. The game's in Carolina. It's their pass defense is what's really kind of putting them in the spotlight at least a little bit. I don't know. There's so many I don't knows this week about. I mean, you got the Chargers Jacksonville game we didn't even really talk about. That whole business. There's a lot. It's tough. I don't know my favorite. I mean, I started with Baltimore on the road at New England. I just think that Baltimore is a better team than what the line is giving them. And New England is a worse team than what we think they might do because they're at home. So I'll take Baltimore, I guess.
All right. Fair enough.
I would say my absolute pick of the day is the Vikings team total over. I'm going to go with that. I think it's 29.5.
Yep.
I love it. I think they're going to be throwing all over the lines today. I like the general over for the game too, because I still think the Lions offense is impressive. But I want to play it safe. Vikings team total over. They'll get 30 or more points, no doubt.
You know what's funny? My favorite bet on the board is a team total also. It's one that I bet yesterday.
Woo!
It's the Cincinnati Bengals, 24.5. I think that they absolutely smashed that number. I think it's an easy 30 burger for the Bengals in this one. I guess we'll close out the show. I'll just read off the rest of the bets that I have. My throat's going to be destroyed after this. Cincy -4, Baltimore moneyline, Detroit +7.5, Indy +7. These were all made earlier in the week. A bunch of teasers that I'm not going to run through because it's way too long. Washington +7, Indy KC under 49.5, Detroit Minnesota over 51, 52, 53. Tampa Bay moneyline, Jacksonville Chargers under 24 and under 24.5 first half. Carolina +3. I forgot that I snuck that bet in there. Cincy over team total. First half, 11.5, 12, 12.5, 13. Over team total for the game, 23.5, 24, 24.5, 25, 25.5. Atlanta over team total, 20.5. Atlanta +1, Houston +3, Minnesota -6. Cincinnati, Minnesota money line. Kelce over 71.5 receiving yards. Jamar Chase over 77.5 receiving yards. Burrow over 265.5 passing yards. Buffalo, Miami over 51, over 52, over 53. Buffalo first half over 23.5, over 24.5, over 24, over 25, over 26. That's it right now.
So if you're watching at home, you can tail all those picks, and
that's a lot of overs. Honestly, reading through that, I don't think I have many unders, and that scares the shit out of me.
Maybe this is the over week.
Wait,
maybe it's the over week.
Do you mind if I just rattle off my degenerate anytime touchdown parlays?
Please, that's what we're here for.
Let's hear it.
Okay. All right, I got it. All right. Well, one, I have my biggest bet of the day actually is. Oh, okay. No, never mind. Okay. Well, I have Tua anytime touchdown scorer. I have a 3-leg parlay: J.K. Dobbins, Michael Thomas, A.J. Dillon, anytime touchdown scorers. I have Chase Edmonds alternate over 60.5 rushing yards.
Okay.
Got that at plus 430. I like it. I have Dolphins plus 4.5 parlayed with Mike Gesicki anytime touchdown. I have Jalen Waddle, Tua, and Devin Singletary.
Do you have any non-Miami bets?
Oh, they're so it just keeps going. But yeah, and then I threw in like a degenerate 10 anytime touchdown scores for the whole NFL Sunday.
What's the 10? Give us those 10.
Okay, the 10 is. Hold on, I have to log back in, but I think you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna want it. It's to win $25,000.
I hope that happens.
Oh, I'll take all of us out to dinner. TJ Hawkinson, anytime touchdown scorer. Nelson Aguilar, anytime touchdown scorer. Christian McCaffrey, anytime touchdown scorer. Juju Smith-Schuster, anytime touchdown scorer. Miles Sanders, anytime touchdown scorer. And where's the juice all come from? The last leg, New York Giants defensive touchdown, anytime touchdown.
Oh,
you know what? Honestly, it's not the worst thing in the world because if you get the first couple and then you have the Giants, you could just hedge out. Cash out or hedge out, yeah.
Yep. So $10 to win $25,727. Let's get it done, fellas.
Let's go.
Have a good NFL Sunday.
there you go.
Joey, if that happens, I'll fly out to New York next week.
I'll fly you out to New York, and we'll literally go Peter Luger on me.
Yeah. Now we're cooking. All right, I'm in. Sold. All right, love that. All right, that does it for the Daily Dozen / the Champions Round Table. You have an hour and a half to lock in these Daily Dozen picks and draft in Sunday's best. And also, you can enter our 7 stakes contest. We have we have a Tyreek helmet that you can get for Daily Dozen if you've been competing with us all week. And then we have a Trayvon Diggs signed Cowboys jersey if you enter the 7 stakes for Monday Night Football. Tomorrow night, you have until 5 p.m. tomorrow to lock in your picks for that 7 stakes slate. Until then, good luck with all your bets today. Good luck in week 3. Let's make some money. Good luck to the Panthers. Good luck to the Dolphins. Good luck to Jason's bets because that's all I give a shit about. And we will talk to you guys soon. See ya.
All right, see ya. All right, see you guys. Good luck.